and that's the case for the Michigan Wolverines right now. Joining us, Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us as always. So, had a little bit of a kind of a detour last week, Coach. The Classic got canceled.
Well, no, the Keith LeClaire Classic went on. It just they canceled games on Friday, and then the forecast wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I talked to their coach, and they said, we could potentially get 2 games in, but maybe not 3, and it wasn't a good situation for us we couldn't get a new flight and miss a day and a half of class not to compete, and just wasn't the schedule didn't line up well, so we had to make alternate plans, and we kept our original flight and just bussed down to Savannah, Georgia, and we're able to find a couple of teams to play down there and get 4 games in this weekend.
All right, so Tennessee Tech and Davidson were the opponents, and you opened things up, Coach, on Friday with a 6-5 victory over Tennessee Tech, and the star of the game for you, Cody Bruder. So kind of take us through that contest.
Yeah, he was a kid who was a little bit trying too hard out in Long Beach and pressing a little bit. So he kind of just got back to slowing the game down a little bit mentally and had some big hits, including a game-tying triple late in the game and then a game-winning squeeze bunt that he executed very well in the 9th inning. And so he had a lot of quality at-bats that game and played outstanding defensively. So, very, very happy for how he responded after a rough weekend the weekend before.
Yeah, no doubt. And to get things started on a good note is always a good thing. On the mound, Brett Adcock allowed 2 hits and 2 runs. And 2 in the third. So you got some guys all the way around there. But then, Coach, you come back after that against Davidson, and it seems like we saw a lot of these kinds of games last year where it's super tight. You go to extra innings and you come up just short, and that's what happened in that first game against Davidson, 5-4 in 11 innings.
Sam, it was one of those situations where we had a 3-0 lead going into the 9th inning, and we walked the bases loaded, hit by pitch and 2 walks, and had a couple of pass balls, and it's just one of those things where you blink and all of a sudden it's a tie game and you're going into extra innings, and that one stung a little bit because that was game 1 of a doubleheader, and you go in from feeling pretty good going into the 9th inning up 3 runs to all of a sudden it's the 11th inning and you're down a run and you're losing extras, and I think we let a little bit of that negative emotion carry over, and we got off to a bad start. We got down 8-0 within the first 3 innings of the second game of the doubleheader against Tennessee Tech. Obviously, a different team, but that's how the schedule was formatted. And credit our guys. They scratched and they clawed back. They put up multiple runs in a bunch of different innings, and before you knew it, we made a game out of it. And, had the tying run on base, and just got off to a bad start there in the beginning, and then due to travel, our travel schedule, we had to play the next game at 9 a.m. in the morning, and again, had a 2-1 lead going into the 8th, and a guy hits a 2-run, 2-out home run in the bottom of the 8th, and they close it out in the 9th. So 3 pretty emotional losses in a span of about 23 hours. And, I just credit our guys because they've gotten back to work since we've been in Ann Arbor. We just got to get better. We got to get the job done. We got to slow the game down a little bit mentally and just get back to simplifying our approach, and pitchers being aggressive and attacking the zone, and hitters just executing the approach, having quality at bats. So I have a really good feeling. I think everyone is very excited to get back to compete again this weekend.
All right, so Coach, kind of a breakdown, if you will, and we're talking to Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. Kind of a breakdown, if you will, of the debuts of a few pitchers, a sophomore and a few freshmen, T.J. Shook, Oliver Jasky, and Jace, is it Vacina? How do you say his name?
Yeah, Vancina, yeah.
Vancina?
Yeah, Jace is a very talented kid. He's drafted out of high school, and he's from Millbury, Ohio, a big kid, 6'4", and got a good fastball, can run it up there 90, 92 miles an hour. And the thing about Jace is he just pounded the zone, and he went over 5 innings for us, very quality start, did a really nice job, worked fast, and just very aggressive, throwing his fastball, strike one, strike two. It seems like he was getting ahead of every hitter he faced. So you're going to see him continue to start for us. He gives us a chance, and he's very talented. Oliver Jassky's a left-hander, another big 6'4" kid. And the thing about Oliver Jassky is he's got 4 pitches. He throws a fastball, a cutter, a breaking ball, and a changeup, and he throws them all for strikes, and he can throw any of them in any count. And he's got a little bit of deception to his delivery, so it just keeps the hitters off balance a little bit. He's another guy who just pounds the strike zone, and so it's good to see him get out there, and fans are going to hear his name a whole lot more as well. And T.J. Shook, coming off of an arm injury last year, and didn't pitch and redshirted, and kind of back to the form of what he's been, a guy who can pitch 88 to 90 with a good slider. And he had a couple of good innings for us there. Got into a little bit of trouble with allowing some base runners in the 3rd inning, and we took him out. Then there was the next pitcher gave up a hit, so those were his runs. But when he was out there, he did a very nice job, and very, very happy with some of those guys who made their Michigan debuts.
Yeah, it was. I like to pull out some of those things, even in defeats. There are some performances that you can highlight. Like, and I gotta mention Keith Lehman. He goes out there, coach, and strikes out 7 in 5 innings of work in that start against Davidson.
Yeah, and that was much improved from the first weekend. He was. I think we know we're a better team than what our record is, and that's going to show throughout the course of the season. And I think that the higher level of expectation with these guys, that they're probably just gripping the ball a little bit too tight, squeezing the bat a little bit too hard. And that was evident with Keith in the first weekend, and the difference between his outing in the first weekend and the second weekend was just the mound presence and the comfortability that he had out there, and the ability for him to just be able to throw all of his pitches for strikes and be able to put zeros up on the scoreboard and hold the opposing offense down. And that's what he can do. He's a guy that he can change speeds. He can throw lots of pitches in different counts, and keeps the offense off balance. So it was good to see him back to form.
And so, Coach, we're talking to Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTK.com. So, the beginning of your spring trip, and this is always one of those team building kind of times of the year, and you kick things off as you head down to Siena or head down to Port St. Lucie, Florida to take on Siena. Let's start there and tell us what Siena brings to the table.
Well, Siena's a northeastern team, and again, a team that is going to be very competitive. They were in the NCAA tournament last year. They even won a game in the regionals last year. So, they're a team that, even though they may have stumbled out of the gate, much like we have, they're going to be extremely competitive. And, they've played a decent schedule up to this point. They've had 3 games with Central Florida, who's nationally ranked, and they beat UConn this past weekend down in Florida as well. So, we have high expectations that this is going to be another competitive series, and but we also have very high expectations that our approach and the way we play is going to be at a much higher level than what it's been. So, yeah, we're focused on Siena, but we're more focused on ourselves.
I got you, Coach, and this is one of those opportunities that you have every year on this long spring trip. Is this typically one of the maybe the biggest team building moment of the year? Am I making too much of that?
Well, what it is it's just an opportunity for the guys to be around each other every day for a lot of time. And I think we've got a pretty close team. I like the chemistry that we've got, the talent that we have in the locker room. But that can only get stronger and tighter when you have an opportunity like this, where the guys can get out of the cold weather and get together on a trip where they have a job to do or a mission we're trying to accomplish, but they also they can also enjoy themselves a little bit. Still focused on academics, obviously, but can take a little bit of a break from not having their normal routine of school every single day. So it'll be good. It'll be a good trip. I think they'll enjoy themselves. They'll enjoy being around each other, but they'll also enjoy competing as well.
And, Coach, before we let you go, one fan wanted me to ask you a question really quick about Carmen Benedetti and his performance on Saturday.
Carmen hit a big 3-run jack on Saturday. He's found his way into the lineup much like he did last year. He didn't start off the year in the lineup, but he gets out there and he has quality at bats, and so he's hit some balls very hard, very loud, and that was a big inning for us. We were down 8-1, and it was the fourth or fifth inning or whatever it was, and he hit the big 3-run jack in a huge park. That place we were playing, as much as I talked about Blair Field and Long Beach being big, this place is bigger, and he hits it over the right field fence, and big lift for us, big 3-run home run to kind of get us back into the game, and we were able to scratch a few more. So mentally it was a big boost. And then Sunday, he came out of the bullpen, had a very good inning, was throwing hard. He's a left-handed pitcher and throws 90 to 92, and the last pitch he threw was 92, and had a good clean inning. So I'm going to start to see Carmen more as a dual player as much as he is as a hitter.
Gotcha. All right, Coach. Sounds like it's just a matter of time, and he can turn things around very, very quickly, obviously, as it is just the beginning of the season. So good luck on the spring trip. We'll catch up with you in between next week, and we'll talk to you then.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks a lot. That's Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich.